Hey, what's going on, good people? Armand Owens here once again with another episode of the Daily Unsung Leader. And we're continuing on with our daily leadership hacks. And today we're going to get into a slightly controversial topic, as we discuss, this hack. And it really revolves around the discussion of, are you working hard or are you just working long? And what is the difference, between, hard work and just long work? Because I contend that what most of us are out here doing is just working long. Just working long. So what is working long? What does that look like? What is the pathway for that? What is that, what is an example of that? Well, I'll give my own example of my early, days of, being thrust, into leadership. It kind of looked like this: go into work with no real expectation, no real architecture, no real plan of what the day was going to look like. It's more of, walk in and see what's going to happen and then respond to what is presented before me. A lot of it spent, having needless conversations about things that don't matter. Needlessly checking email, waiting for tasking, spending time in meetings or in places that really don't serve a lot of value, because the purpose of that meeting, of that gathering, was not slated in the beginning. Therefore, we're just all over the place, or we're just scattered noise, making no definite purpose known. Until I was pulled aside by a wonderful mentor of mine after having a very, needless to say, aggressive conversation about being tired, worn out, and frustrated because I got so much on my plate. And he kind of hit me in the gut with, hey man, you're not actually working hard, man. You're just actually working long. Right? You're just existing, at work. You're not really, taking the time, to be purposeful, to be intentional about what's going to happen for your day. Hey, shipmate, you're just a passenger in your own day. You're not driving your own day, which is why you're just merely responding to the things that come up. And of course you're tired. Of course you're tired because you're having to pivot. You're having to respond. You're not ready for what's coming, and the weight is being thrown at you. You ever been surprised before and somebody throws something at you and it was way too much for you to carry? Imagine how much energy you are expending in that moment should you have to do this numerous times every single day. Of course you're tired because you're not the architect of your day. And I was extremely upset because I'm contending. I am literally working my butt off here. What are you talking about? Like, no, you're not working hard. You're just working long. You're just existing in the workspace. You're not taking the time to affect the workspace. I mean, talk about some hard, hard conversations. You're just existing in the workspace. You're not affecting the workspace because you're not controlling the workspace. And that really, that took me. And he gave me a tool to help, which I'm going to give to you. What he told me was to just take, at the end of the day, take inventory of all the things that I got done for that day, right? So legitimate things, actionable things that were completed for that day. What things really got accomplished during that day? Write down everything, right? And to do this for 2 weeks. And most of what it ended up boiling down to was that I only got like a couple of things accomplished throughout the day, but yet I'm expending so much energy just existing in space, whether it's, like I said, meaningless conversations, waiting for tasking, checking email, just sitting back, kind of just waiting, existing, not making a difference. And I feel as though, just based on the conversations that I have and some of the experiences that I've had in my my experience is just that's where most people are. This is where most leaders are, because we're not taking the time to construct how we want this day, to play out. And I'm not saying that how we construct it, in the beginning, that's how it's going to go. But going into the day with a plan of action allows you to maintain enough space to respond should any changes happen. Right? Because if you already have the mental, the mental space, the mental architecture of how your day is going to go, you've written it down, you've transmitted that to your team, everybody knows their tasks, everybody knows what's expected for that day, and then something comes up, you have the space, you have the energy, to pivot maybe just once or twice, rather than pivoting all day long in response to what is coming, right? So how do you know if you are working long? How do you know if you're not working hard but you're working long? First one is you are reactive rather than proactive. In a previous video, I talked about establishing a blueprint for my week where I sit down on Sundays. Me and my wife, we sit down and we share our calendars, and I go through all of the things I have to get done for the week, all the things I have desire to get done. I sit down and I map that out for the entire week from Monday through Friday. Well, that came as a result of pain, frustration, and a lot of shaking from my mentor. All right. So that didn't come out of just, because I'm so smart, I had to do this. I was messing this thing up, and it was a practice that I needed to put in place because I was being reactive. I was just allowing the day to come to me rather than dictating what the day was going to be. And because I'm reactive, because I'm on my heels all day, when things come, I'm getting knocked back. When things come, I'm getting knocked back, continually getting knocked back. And that drives our energy levels down, down, down. So by the end of the day, I'm just completely incapable of responding in any way, shape, or form to anything that comes up. Right? So being reactive, vice being proactive. And the second one is our addiction to being available. Now, I've been, blessed at the CMC level where, I have this electronic leash, that, anybody can get in contact with me at any time of the day. And, I'm accountable to, to that electronic leash. All right. People give, problems, concerns, issues, all times of the day. Right. But our addiction to being available also drives down our energy levels because we're not really getting anything done. It's because somebody has an expectation for us to be available. And their expectation is, hey, if you're not at work, then you're not working hard. You're not doing your job. What? If you have my number, I'm always available. If somebody can get in contact with you, you're always available. That does not mean that you need to be available in the workspace if you're not actively working on things that bring results. You don't have to be in the same place all the time, be in the workspace to make things happen. Right? Our addiction with being available, has to be ex-nayed. All right? And that availability, and I'm coupling that availability with being at work. That's how you're working long rather than working hard, because you just feel like, I just got to be here. And you got to think about it. If you have that mindset that you feel like you got to be here, are you training your personnel to be leaders? Right? The third one is our fear that something will come up if I'm not here. Something may come up. If I leave at 1400, at 1415, something's going to happen where I have to be at work. Come on, man. That goes back That goes back to making sure you are the architect and the driver and the leader of your day. You're constructing what is the priority, right? And this one, can be complicated, right? Because you may be in a situation where you're leading your team, but you have people above you, right? And that thing that is coming up is coming from somebody that's on your team that may be above you. Hey, I thought we were getting this done. Why is this not happening? Right? And one of the primary ways of dealing with that issue is making sure that your priorities collectively between, and in the military, for us, division officer, department head, department chief, whatever the case may be, whoever your team is, make sure you're aligned on the priorities. Make sure you're aligned on the priorities so that when you're producing results in the thing that you believe are the priorities, that no longer ties you from being at work for whatever reason. So make sure, sit down, have that conversation with your team. What are our priorities? This is what I am working on. This is what needs to happen. And this is what we plan on getting done for this week. Any questions? All right. And the last one is just dealing with the weight of managing the perspective of those that are a point above us, right? Because along with those people that are saying, hey, what if something comes up? Well, there's also this sense of, hey, if you're not at work, you're not working hard. I remember I used to get my mentor would say his mentor called him, at 6 p.m., on his submarine to check and see whether or not he was at work, and called it a dedication check, because there's a coupling of hard work versus long work. The truth of the matter is that it is about results. It is about what you are actually producing, not about how long you are at work. Think about how much you can gather out of, an hour a day over the course of a month. That time can be spent training. That time can be spent, preparing. That time can be spent, truly mentoring, right? But because we have to fill the space and just merely exist in a space and not take control of our days and not become the architect, of our days, we are just at the behest of what is going to happen throughout the day. And we're actually not leading. We're just along for the ride, when we are supposed to be the ones in the driver's seat as leaders. So don't confuse working hard with working long. Because if you do that, guess what you're transmitting down to the people that you have the privilege of leading? They think that to be considered working hard is also working long. And we lose what it really means to get results. Get tangible results and go home and be with your family and do something meaningful, rather than just staying and existing in the workspace. Take control of it. Let me know what you think about this one. I appreciate all the feedback. Hopefully this hack helps you. Please, if you got any questions, reach out. But I'll be back with another leadership hack tomorrow on Some Leader Out.